Good morning. Today is Friday, October 18th. I am recording, thank you. This is Healing the Heart of America. And today's topic is a subset, really, of wanting love and approval. It's this wanting to be heard. Yesterday we explored wanting to be safe. Wanting love and approval is the second of the three temptations that Jesus Christ had to overcome before he could begin his ministry. The third is wanting control, wanting power. And we'll deal with that next week. But I think on Monday we're going to be exploring the income differential, the wealth inequality in America. But let's just begin our journey into our hearts, and from within our hearts we'll explore this energy of wanting to be heard, which is such a normal and natural energy. And at times it gets distorted. And that's what we'll be addressing. We want it to be when we're heard, when we're loved, is just sort of, oh, that's very nice, as opposed to the desperate craving for it, where it runs our life. And really we want to be so full of love within our hearts that our hearts are bubbling up with love. And our experience is that of simply unconditionally loving everyone that we meet. And from that platform, it happens spontaneously that we are loved, that we are heard. So let's get started by sitting up straight, just being comfortable. And let's say good morning or good evening to our hearts. Just put our hands on top of one another, above our hearts, just a way to say hello. And we just let this posture do its work. There's no trying on our side. And just notice when we put our hands in our heart, direct the energy of the hands back into the heart. What's your experience? What shifts? We didn't really spend time noticing where we were at the beginning, but that's okay. We sort of know where we were, where are we now, just from Putting our attention there on the heart, briefly. Anytime we experience any sense of overwhelm or frustration or irritation, this is an easy thing to do, to rebalance the energy within us. So go ahead and let your hands down when that's comfortable. And now let's begin our practice of heart rhythm meditation. This wonderful technology from the Desert Fathers and Mothers who meditated with their heart and with their breath. This is sort of brought back or restored by Puran and Susanna Baer of I Am Heart. So we just begin by noticing our breath. Just how easy is it? How full? Is the exhale longer than the inhale, or vice versa? Are they balanced? Which nostril is dominant, more open? And just notice, does our attention on our breath cause it to change in any way? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's just a point of inquiry, of noticing. And could we just take a moment to allow gratitude for this breath that we have that has served us so faithfully for so many decades? And now let's begin the process of moving into a very full exhale, very full inhale. Deep abdominal breathing. Pull the muscles on the exhale all the way back towards the spine. And again, what happens when we start full breathing abdominally, Full inhale, full exhale. We flood our system with life force, with prana. What's your experience there? The more we take time to notice, the more our inner senses waken. So noticing is a practice unto itself. And while we keep this deep, slow abdominal breath going, let's begin the process of connecting the rhythm of our heartbeat to the rhythm of our breath. Typically that means inhale to 8 heartbeats, exhale to 8 heartbeats. Could be 6 or 10, whatever. But we want the two to be equal. Same length of inhale, same length of exhale. On the inhale, we receive. On the exhale, we give out. If you can't feel your heartbeat, just feel your pulse. Hold the breath for a while, perhaps. You'll feel your heartbeat then. Or simply count until your inner sensitivity increases. You will discover over time that this inner sensitivity that develops in this practice is a great way, a great source of accessing the wisdom of your body. Our bodies are the most compact essence of intelligence that we could imagine. The planet is another amazing, dense source of wisdom that we can access. Same with each of the elements. That would be the earth element, of course. Deep wisdom that we can start to access in the fluid flowing through our bodies, the rivers within us. Deep wisdom in our digestion, the intelligence in our digestive tract. Every time we go into some peak experience, that digestive tract is doing its own job of secreting the serotonin or any other chemicals that might be needed, the soma. Deep wisdom in the fire. And in the air, deep wisdom. the wisdom of the jet streams circulating prana throughout the entire planet. It just takes developing our inner senses. The five senses correlate to the five elements. So again, notice with these inner senses, as we've been connecting our heartbeat to our breath, stabilizing and normalizing these systems within our body. What's your experience right now? And let's just set an intention. Would it be okay with us if our ability to notice the elements becomes more and more subtle, more and more refined? We can practice this by our outward senses. When we meet someone, are they fire? Are they air? Are they rock solid, grounded in earth? Are they flowing, yielding, soft, like water, but powerful anyway? Are they the vast and spaciousness of space, of ether, of akasha? And notice it with objects. What is predominant? What elements are predominant in the objects in our life? It's a different way of looking at the world. And over time, it starts making these elements very alive and awake within us. As important as our mind is, as important as our ego is, it's just a new way of relating to creation. So this morning, let's explore the space element, the ether element, and connect it to the heart center. Our physical hearts are the heart on the surface of life. We go deep within our hearts and we find the very blueprint that we are born into this world with, the map or the destiny, the direction. But let's begin the breath process to allow the breath to invite this element into our awareness today. And with that, we breathe in and out of both the nose and the mouth simultaneously. And it may take a little practice, but you'll get it. I suggest to start you favor breathing in and out through your mouth. And just notice that some part of the air comes in through your nostrils as well. And with this ether breath, it's really important we stay connected to our heartbeat. We don't want to expand into the fullness of space without an anchor. Don't want to get spacey. We want to have this vast benefit of the ether element, all the while being fully present in our bodies. So breathe the energy directly into your heart and out. All the other four elements have an aspect of motion. Earth is spreading out, water is flowing down, fire is rising, air is sort of a zigzag moving everywhere. But space is already everywhere. There's a vast amount of silence in the ether element. It holds the other four elements. Sometimes it's called Akasha. That's a Sanskrit term for this element. And I know we've all heard of the phrase, the Akashic Records, which I've always taken to mean the memory of everything in creation, recorded in the very fabric of creation itself. Recorded in space. As we breathe in, out, exhaling, holding on to our heartbeat, could we allow our heart to expand into the space that already exists? When we are created, this vast universal heart somehow steps down these vast universal energies, these divine qualities, and pulls them. It's an impossible thing, but it happens anyway. Pulls the unbounded into our bounded form. Now the invitation is, through this ether breath, connecting with this energy of space, to expand out. Breathe into the heart and just move out. Fill the room that we're in. Notice the texture of your experience. And is it different than when you spread out with the earth element, or the fire, or water, air? As you continue to do this, you will notice this distinction, these very subtle flavors of the elements. It's hard to put words on them, but easy to compare them internally. Could you expand out even more? Perhaps leading the way with your imagination or with your awareness. And then allow that energetic expansion. Each of these elements has an energy to it because they are the foundation of creation. Each element everywhere present in creation. Inhale into the heart, 8 heartbeats or whatever your number is. Exhale and expand out even further. And is this element quieter or noisier than the other elements? Just what's your experience here? And if you're saying, well, this is so far beyond me, you're not experiencing anything, it's okay. It's really okay. All we're doing is we're playing and starting. We all just start somewhere. We all just start wherever we are. And that time comes and you go, oh yeah, I do sense a little bit of difference here. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So let's just allow that attention, energy, imagination to go out all the way to the far reaches of the universe. Expanding out through the planets, through the sun, the moon, through all the galaxies, the galactic clusters. And is it okay with you if you allow your experience of yourself to include all of creation, even if it's very faint out there? And one of the great teachers of the last century, a silent teacher named Meher Baba, would describe it this way. People would say, what's your experience? And he had a way of communicating rather than speaking. But he said, for me, it's like I am every part of creation. But it's like your awareness of your big toe. You know that it's there, but your conscious mind isn't on it all the time unless it's stubbed or something like that. But you know at a very deep level that it's there. The invitation is for all of us to allow that process to start where we are merging into all of creation. And notice if there's any feedback from the far edges of creation. Everything is a feedback loop in creation. And back into our hearts here. And as we move into this next part of this meditation, where we start to heal the wounds of our own heart, heal the wounds in the heart of America, just breathe with whatever breathing pattern is normal and natural for you. If you want to keep up that same breath, that's fine. Just make sure you stay in your heart. So the topic this morning, in case you missed it when I announced it earlier, is this second of the three temptations that Jesus went through before he could begin his ministry on the earth, begin his teaching career. And the first we dealt with was wanting safety and security. It was fear yesterday. This is wanting love and approval, specifically the flavor of desperately wanting to be heard. And it's not, just to be very clear, it's not that there's anything wrong with wanting to be loved or wanting to be heard. It's a very natural program that we have that's extremely useful for living in this creation. It's built into us. It's never going to go away. That's okay. What happens is that at times this desire to be loved becomes wounded, distorted, and it starts to run our life. We start acting in a way to, oh, if I do this, then they'll love me. If I do this, then they'll hear me, and then I'll be happy. And it's sort of a losing cycle. We become desperate to be heard, and instead of that eliciting the sense of, oh, from people, how wonderful this person wants to be desperately heard, it causes people to shy away from neediness. We've all been around really needy people. And sometimes we're in a space where we go, yes, now's the time. And sometimes we go, no, not right now. But let me ask it this way. Does wanting to be heard, does wanting to be loved give you love and approval? Does wanting to be heard, desperately wanting to be heard, cause people to truly listen to you? Or does it cause, do you push people away? Would it be okay with you if you shifted into your heart and lived from a place of overflowing love, where we don't mind if people love us or not? We're so full of love that all we want to do is love everyone around us. Would that be okay? I think it's pretty obvious that's fine. We're just setting an intention. But let's now just pull up in our own lives who isn't hearing us. Who do we want to hear us? And maybe it's our children. Maybe it's our boss. Maybe it's our spouse. Maybe it's friends. Could you just welcome up that wanting to be heard or wanting to be loved? Who doesn't love you? That you really want them to love you? Who doesn't respect you? And you really want them to respect you? So this lacking feeling that I'm not getting enough respect, that I'm not getting heard enough, I'm not being loved enough. Could you just feel that feeling for a second? Welcome it up. Could you just be with it? And maybe you need to go to your past. Someone in your past that you really wanted to love you. You really wanted to express, teach, share, help, and they just wouldn't listen to you. Whatever it is, wherever it is, in the past or present, can you wrap up that feeling so it's really strong within you? And just feel it. Be with it. it may be helpful to notice, how does it feel differently from when you are feeling fear, when you're wanting to be safe, when you're feeling insecure, anxious? And what I'm hoping you will notice is that there is a basic energetic experience of all of these wounds that's uniform or the same with, on an underlying level, it's the same with all of them, and there's an overlay over it that gives it a flavor. This flavor is wanting to be heard, wanting to be loved, wanting to be respected. But underneath there is usually a sensation or a disturbance in your field. So we're just playing with emotional intelligence here, learning how to be more fluent with the energy of our feelings, the energy of our wounds. So that's just an invitation to notice that. And it may take a while. Just again, you may notice it differently, and that's perfect. It's our bodies communicating with us when these feelings come up. Could you love the fact that your bodies are giving you messages by your feelings? That your subconscious is communicating with you. And the best response is to feel it, love it. Sometimes if you'll just hang out with that feeling, there's a message for you. Very concrete message. Sometimes it's just energy that wants to transform itself. And then you invite it into your heart and let it shift into love, harmony, beauty, power, wisdom, whatever divine quality we choose. So what's happening with that feeling of wanting to be heard, of wanting to be loved, of wanting to be respected? Has it shifted for you yet? Can you see it as a part of yourself that wants to be heard? Notice the irony there. We are wanting to be heard, but we're not hearing the subtle energies within us that are also desperate to be heard. Would it be okay with us if we hear the energies within ourselves? And I guess the automatic extension of that is it okay for us to hear people who are desperate to be heard? Can you check to see if you have any resistance to someone in deep need, needy, clingy, however it shows up for them, desperate to be heard, and just check to see, don't want to spend the time, don't want to hear it. Whatever that resistance is, Could you hear that within yourself? Welcome that up. And let that shift into love or compassion. Check to see if you have the sense of, oh, I have something else to do that's more important. Could you welcome up that message within yourself? Notice that it's just another feeling coming up. Oh, I have to do this. Its own anxiousness, its own nervousness, its own fear that if I don't get this done, something bad will happen to me. And always here, we're never saying to stop using your common sense. If you have to get something done, you have to get it done. But could we use this as an exploration of our energy within us? Feel that, heal that, respond from that place of wholeness, and then do what we have to do. So let's imagine, always, 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 we're wanting to be heard and no one hears us. We have something to share, something to show, something to teach, or just simply something that we have to say from an internal urging, and never, ever, ever will people listen to us. What energy does that bring up within you? What frustration, what sadness, what pain? Can you welcome up that pain? I'm getting a flavor of loneliness. So maybe it's loneliness that you experience. It's there for me. Could you welcome up that sense of loneliness, pain, aloneness, whatever it is? And just be with that. This is a squeezing the lemon process where we just take it out to the far extreme. Just to stir up that energy. No one ever, ever, ever listens. And just by being with that pain or loneliness or whatever, could you let that shift? Could we move into a place where we let go of trying to control people, trying to make them listen, honor their own place, just like we want to be honored? Would it be okay with us if we don't get love from these other people, if we give ourselves love and approval? Let's just do that for a moment here. Could you give yourself love and approval? And more love and approval. And more love and approval. And if you don't know how to do this, the easy way is to pick something about yourself. I love you because you woke up this morning. I love you because it's Friday. You need no reason. Or you could just say, I bless you and I bless you. I praise you and I praise you. I unconditionally love and support you, just the way you are, in all your magnificence. And what happens is, over time, we get in the habit of loving ourselves. And it's more than enough. Back here to this picture of no one ever, ever, ever listening to us. No one ever, ever, ever loving us. Go to who that person is that we want love. We want their time. We want their listening. If you look inside them, you'll realize they don't have love to give. They don't have patience to give. We're looking for people to give us things they don't give themselves. And how smart is that? Would it be okay with us if our higher self cascaded love into our personality, into our ego, into our mind? Let me just check. Is it okay? Could you be at peace even if people don't love you? Even if people don't listen to you? Do we want our inner stability, our core, to be dependent on everyone else? Or do we allow it to be self-sufficient within us? Happiness coming from within. Now let's go to the other side of this squeezing the lemon. Imagine everybody all the time wanting to listen to us. It sounds fabulous, and it is. They keep coming, wanting to hear you. Just check to see if after a while you might want some time to yourself. And suddenly you realize all I'm doing is saying the same things over and over again to people. And it's great for a while, and after a while you go, wow. They hear it, but they don't get it. What other problems come up for you when people come to you all the time wanting to be heard, wanting to be heard, wanting to be heard, or wanting to be loved, wanting to be loved? And that's where compassion fatigue shows up. People around you very needy. And believe me, they are needy. It's not imaginary. Would it be okay with you if you allow people to be in the space where they are and still allow your inner core to be filled with love, to be filled with peace? And from that, give, share, be with what is in accord with the deepest wishes of your heart. So it's always fulfilling for you. Would that picture be okay? And just to take it to the national level, because America is just like we are. There are parts of America who are desperate to be heard, parts desperate to be loved. And would it be okay with us if we as a country moved into our hearts, established a vibrant culture of the heart in America? That we see the minorities, see the poor, see the sick, see the lonely, whatever they are. That America lives so much in our heart that we are there to hear, to love, to be with every part of our country, greeted with love, greeted with respect, greeted with peace. And if there's any collective fear, what's going to happen? How are we going to afford it? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to do it? Are we going to make everyone dependent on us? Whatever fear comes up within us individually, it's there for the nation. Could we just feel that? Hear that voice within us. Love that voice. And let it shift. Even if we don't know, the mind doesn't know how it's going to happen, could we let the intentions spring from our hearts? This country lives in its heart and lives in the world from its heart. And let's just slowly wind down from this meditation, allowing that vision for America to resonate within our hearts. Allowing this vision of us living from our hearts to become alive. Back to your heartbeat if you've lost it. Energized feet on the floor, connecting to the earth. Just take a minute or two to open your eyes. That's a way of loving our bodies and our minds, giving it some time to integrate. So by now I've started this tradition of telling stories. And Sufi stories sometimes have an obvious point, and sometimes they have a point where you go, Since I've announced the topic for next Monday as being the inequality of wealth in America, I thought I'd tell a Sufi story about wealth. Hang on a second. I may change that story. Okay. It's still tied into wealth. So there was this great Sufi master. This one's a more obvious story. There was this great Sufi master who was on his deathbed dying. And he was a very heart-centered Sufi master, always helping poor people, feeding them, this and this. And the way he would do it is he'd borrow money. And then a great donor would come along eventually and donate. And they'd pay everybody back to creditors. It's been going on for years. But here he is on his deathbed. All of his devotees are around him. And they're just feeling sorrowful, mournful, because he's barely able to talk. And a little bit further back, there's all these creditors who he owes large sums of money to. And they're going, he owes me 500 dinars. Oh, he owes me 1,000 dinars. He owes me 1,500 dinars. Oh. And they're saying, And the Sufi master sort of whispers to his devotees, what are those people talking about over there? And they say, well, they're saying that they're worried they're never going to get paid, and they're going to go bankrupt, and they're going to lose their homes, and all this and all this. And the Sufi master goes, he doesn't care. He's dying, And I don't know if it's right to say he doesn't care. He's just, okay, but it's not touched by it. So this goes on a bit more, and their clamoring becomes louder and louder, and he's just going, okay. Finally, outside the house, a boy walks by, about 10 years old, shouting, halva for sale. Halva is a Middle Eastern delicacy. I think it's honey and sesame seeds. It's something like that. Really sweet and tasty. And the old Sufi master goes, invite that boy in here. And the boy comes in, he looks around, and he thinks, I got it made, And the Sufi master says, how much for your whole tray? The boy lights up, and he goes, a dinar, 1 dinar. And the Sufi master goes, no, it's not worth it. How about a half dinar? They always negotiate. And the boy goes, he's thinking, yeah, I only have to give 1/4 of a dinar to my master, and I'll be done for the day. This is a good deal. He goes, yes. And the Sufi master says, so give 1 to everybody in the room. And it turns out there's just enough for everybody in the room. And then the boy reaches out his hand to the Sufi master and says, half a dinar, please. And the Sufi master says, I only asked how much it was going to cost. I didn't say I'd pay it. And the boy starts to wail. He says, my master will beat me. Maybe he'll even kill me if I don't come home with this. And his wail was so genuine and so plentiful, everybody in the room just sort of went silent at the pain this young boy was in. And just then, one of the wealthy donors shows up, who hadn't been around for a couple of years, didn't even know the master was dying. And he goes, "What's going on here?" And the devotees tell him, "Oh, he's dying. The creditors are upset. This boy is owed a half dinar." The donor goes, "Oh, well, here." He opens up his bundle, and he just happens to have one package that has a half dinar, and he gives it to the boy. And he has another package with 500 dinar, and he gives it to the one creditor. Another package with 1,000, and he gives it to the next creditor. Another package with 1,500 dinars, and he gives it to the other one. And everybody breathes a sigh of relief. And the devotees say to the master, "How did this happen? What's going on here?" And the master said, "Do you know, all these creditors, they have plenty of money. They were just posturing about being broke. They are just rich and fine. And you devotees who are secretly wondering if you're going to have enough money for the dargah, for the ashram to continue, you're going to have plenty. Don't worry about it." He says, "But I couldn't respond because there's nothing to worry about for you guys. So I invited this boy in here, and his cry was heard by the universe. So the universe responded to his cry. And that's how it happened. That's how it happened." To all of us who are thinking we have problems, not listening, thinking we have problems, that divine's not listening. It's the cry of our hearts. The cry of our hearts. That's what wants to be heard. That's a sweet story, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So that ends the formal part of our class. And I'm so happy to be with you all. Fabulous energy with you. If anyone has a question or a gain or has something they want to work on, you're welcome. Yes. Yeah, come up, tell a gain. No, you can do it right there. Okay. Tell us again. Nice. Wait. Is it okay if you feel that? Go back to that experience. Can you go back there? Everybody else, go to some great experience sometime in your life. Okay? So is it okay with you? There you are, you've had this wonderful experience. Notice there is a little bit of delight and attachment to it. Oh, I hope it'll happen again. Would it be okay with you, Kathy, if you let that go? Yeah. Would it be okay with you if you let go of the experience and allow it to get even better? That's okay, isn't it? For everyone. Whatever you experienced, could you give yourself permission to let it go so it could get even better? Let it go even more so it can get even better. And let it go even more so it can get even better. And I apologize to those of you online. I forgot to change the microphone. But Kathy had a really sweet, transcendental, filled-up experience, and she was just sharing that gain. And then we took that a little further. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another person here, Catherine.
Well, I love the story that you just shared. And I wanted to share this from Lal Ded, L-A-L-D-E-D, a mystic. Who is the florist? Who is the flower girl? With what flowers should he be worshipped? In what water should he be bathed? With what mantra should we awaken Shankara, who abides in the self? Mind is the florist, devotion the flower girl who brings flower wreaths for him. He should be worshipped with the flowers of faith and bathed in the nectar of the mystic moon. Silence is the mantra that awakens him. And in the deep stillness of the mind, he wakes up in the inmost self. Thou art the earth, thou art the sky, thou art the air, the day and the night, the sacrificial corn thou, and the unction of the sandal paste. Thou art the water, thou art the flowers, thou art all these and everything. What may I, in worship, bring to thee?
Stephen?
Yes.
Do you have another moment?
Sure. Go ahead. Who's this?
This is Randolph.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
This is Randolph.
Oh, Randolph. Hey, how you doing?
Very fine.
Good.
You were helping me recently, and I'd like to get a little bit more relief, support, a little bit more understanding. I awaken most mornings with a great sadness, and so you were helping me to not be attached to that and not push it away, and to be welcoming to it, and to be loving towards it, and then to let it go. So I've been practicing that since you and I talked last, and I'm noticing that right at the point when I kind of have a very loving feeling towards it and let it go, it immediately comes back kind of to the beginning as strong as it was. And so is my work just to continue that pattern as long as I have some time in order to break that cycle?
So, Randolph?
Yes.
So, ask your mind if it has an answer to that question.
The only answer I can get is that I have to keep repeating that process,
Okay.
and that's okay.
So this is perfect. Sometimes the mind has an answer, and sometimes it doesn't. So there you had an answer, and you knew it, right?
Right.
So could you give yourself some love and approval because you have this knowledge within yourself?
Okay, yes.
Could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
Yes. So, just for more information, this is on the level of information, the analogy we use is of a Kleenex tissue box. You know, you pull out one tissue and the next one pops up, right?
Yes.
It looks just like the last one. And in the beginning, it's really hard to pull them out. But when you get down towards the end, you pull out one and a whole clump come out, right?
Yes.
So that's how this works. In the beginning, it's like, oh, sort of, okay, it's coming out, good. And then another one shows up right away. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes. So let's go on the level of intention. Is it okay with you if this becomes an easy and smooth process?
Yes.
Yes. And is it okay with you if it doesn't take forever and a day for this to happen?
Double yes.
Yes. Yes. Now check to see if there's any desperation in that double yes. Okay. Now can you feel that desperation? Hoping, wanting?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah. So every time we want, and that's different than an intention. Let's make some very clear distinctions here. Every time we want desperately, what we're really doing is we're sending out a message to the universe that I don't have this. This is not possible. You get that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So that quality of not possible, don't have it, could you feel that quality right now within you?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And could you just be with that feeling of not having it?
Okay.
Okay, it's just a feeling again, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Now, isn't it equally true, Randolph, that you are a vast spiritual being?
Oh, yes.
So you are both right now this not having feeling and this vastness of a spiritual being. So could you allow the vastness of your spirituality to be more powerful than this little feeling that says, I don't have this?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So what I'm inviting you and everyone, it's like we have this continuum, this line in front of us. And on one side, way over here with this limited bag of skin full of feelings inside of it. And here on the other side were these vast, pure hearts expanded in this biggest creation. All right? And we are, at every moment, we are somewhere back and forth in this continuum. The invitation for you, because you're feeling all the stuff so heavily and so deeply, and you've gone through some very stressful periods, I know. Invitation for you is just to shift that more towards your heart, your experience of being a vast part, or part of the vast universal heart. Is that okay with you as an intention?
I can do that, yes.
I know you can. I know you can. And could you allow that to become a new habit, a new place where you just live from?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There you are.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Randolph. So some of you guys are going to notice, or probably noticing, that when Catherine read that poem, which I didn't know she was going to do that, I didn't shut her down. The shutting down hadn't been working, has it? So I'm in this dilemma of wanting to avoid this from becoming a discussion group versus being a place, a forum, where people can go deeply within and experience their feelings and shift them. So I need help here. How to do that? I guess I should ask my mind if it has an answer. Anyway, anyone else? I'll let that answer show up. Anyone else have questions? Oh, it's 10:15.
This is Patsy, Steve.
Oh, Patsy, how are you?
I'm good. I guess it's really a game, but during that meditation, at one point, the needing to talk, I just burst out laughing because I live alone, and I've been living alone for many years, so there isn't anybody. And I've learned the lesson from that is I don't always have to have someone, to, even though sometimes I think I do. Releasing has helped me see that it's okay if I don't. And the other comment I wanted to make was on your story. I've had that experience of looking back on my life as a senior, just not too long ago, not knowing what was going to happen, but being able to share with my sister going through a very difficult time that the universe has always provided for me. It's just a fact in my life.
And that's a big
And yes, thank you. That story just reminded me of, I don't have to figure it out. And neither do you and what to do, right? That's what it sounded like you were doing. Wanting to figure it out. And, so I guess my lesson is I don't need to know, even when the fear comes up, and I think it's, for me, allowing more fear, whatever's there to arise.
Perfect, Patsy.
And to allow my life to unfold the way it's supposed to instead of the way I think it should.
Nice.
And that's very challenging. That's at least challenging for me.
So could you welcome up that sense of that being difficult?
Yes, it's there, yes.
Could you feel it?
Yeah, and it's a pain, that resistance to it.
So everybody here or on the phone, when you find it difficult to sort of surrender to life, surrender to what's happening, can you feel the resistance to the surrendering? The fear, what will happen to. Can you get in touch with that? And can you just welcome up that feeling?
Yes.
Yes. Can you welcome it up some more, Patsy? And everyone else.
Oh, yes. It must be near the bottom of the tissue box. There's like a clump of it. Yes.
Nice. And just, use your discrimination here for a moment, because the mind has its place. So all your life, you've been supported. That's what you just told us.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Would you be willing to surrender to that even more?
Yes.
Yes. And could you surrender even more?
Yes.
Yes. And even more?
Yes.
Yes. And is there any fear with that surrender?
No.
That's nice to hear. Okay. That's where you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, just overcome with love.
Yeah. All right, Patsy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. It was 10:20 or so. I'm going to call this quits and thank everyone for being here. And I will see you, I hope, on Monday morning. Let me unmute everyone so we can... Hi, everybody.
So long.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sid.
Thank you.
Yeah. In this meeting.